So please write down your enrollment again so that it will be recorded.
It's a bank pin.
Renuka Pradhan has written his enrollment and Jyoti
हाँ,
Jana has also written
किंतु बैंक
enrollment.
जो बैंक रे
We
sign
are just
करनी
waiting for 10 number of students. As regional center has communicated to us that
ठीक है
the 10 number of attendance is required for continuing the class. So
Hello,
we are
sir.
waiting. Okay.
हेलो
ଆଗରୁ ଆଗରୁ ସେମିତି ମାନେ କି ରେକର୍ଡିଂ ହେଇନଥିବା ଆଗରୁ ଏନରୋଲମେଣ୍ଟ ମାନେ ଦେଇ ଦଉଛୁ ମାନେ ଆମର ଏବସେଣ୍ଟ ପଡିବ ମୋର।
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଆବସେଣ୍ଟ ପଡ଼ିବନି। ତେବେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସୁଦ୍ଧା ଆମ ଭିତରେ 2 ଜଣ ଜଏନ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି।
ନା ଆଗ କ୍ଲାସ ମାନେ ଫିଜିକ୍ସ କେମିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ବାୟୋ।
no
ନାଇଁ
no once you attend your attend is recorded your attendance has been recorded you won't have any problems that will found right
ଓକେ ସାର୍।
you won't have any problem at all so if they have not taken that into account or they have not taken your attendance there in still your presence is enough for you and that will be found from record.
ଓକେ ସାର୍।
we are just waiting for joining of other 8 students.
Jyoti Jana perhaps is new for this class, no? Am I right? Please mute and let me know that. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
first time attending the class? Where are you from?
No, sir, I am from Ganjam.
Ganjam.
Mm.
Okay. Are you doing it in job?
No, sir.
For a student?
I have completed my CP.
Oh, that's good.
Mm.
You have completed the technical educations, and I think this educations will help you a lot.
Yes, sir.
So, how many English classes have you attended so far?
Sir, I have attended 2 classes. And
Okay.
last time I tried mane,
To join, but you failed to join.
हाँ,
That's right. So, what usual problem that you find at the time of preparing English subject?
um, I think, sir, one word having so many meanings, and so I
That's a common thing because I have already discussed with all the students that in English language you'll find the same problem because like Odia language, a particular word has a particular meaning. But so for English language and linguistic is concerned, you'll find different meaning from a word. I had also cited an example that pen. We know that pen means the instrument that we write with, but sometimes we use it at verb. He paints me later every day, right?
yes, sir.
Pain. The meaning of pain is changed here, right?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes pain, one word, pain is used as noun. The same pain is used as verb. The meaning are different. And I
Mm.
have also cited examples of chair where we used to sit, and sometimes we use this as verb. That the principal is chairing the session. It means he's preside over the meeting.
Yes, sir.
So a particular meaning you may not find with a particular word. So far English language is concerned, it is very unscientific language, and the grammar itself is fluctuate all times. And
Mm.
whatever things that you see, after some times you'll find exceptional things. And the words, the meaning, the context that you know today, after some days you'll find the same thing is not yeah, after some days, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's because journalists, the reporters in English newspaper, if you read that every day, you will find how do they use the words in new ways, and that is accepted because that is English dictionary, but it is not accepted and allowed in Odia language, right? There's a lot
Yes.
of hue and cry if there is any say sambada. You see that dantaso anusar bo akar the, it's not accepted, but so mo bo akar the, this is accepted. Odia grammar accept this. We are very rigid, right? But
Yes.
English dictionary every 10 years add minimum 1000 new words from different sources, and that is allowed and accepted by them. For that reason, it has been spread widely all over the world, and it has been accepted as the global language.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm.
so also because this is called broadness of the language, and the people or the native speaker, they accept, they don't rebel against this. They don't say that we will not accept this type of things which are not available in your grammar and language. They don't speak like this. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so this happens, but don't try to find out exact meaning of a particular word. You try
Mm.
to sense the meaning, and that will help you at the time of reading. The other thing that I have discussed with you, that when you are reading newspaper, sometimes you find difficult words. Difficult words means the meaning of that words you do not know and acquainted with. So that's
Yes.
why you find it difficult. But if you sense the meaning of that word, you can able to understand the passage, right? And in
Mm.
that way, we follow reading newspapers, right? We don't try to find out exact meaning of particular words. And if you go on searching for the meaning of words, then it will take 2 days, 3 days to complete a newspaper. Am I right?
Yes,
So
sir.
that never happens, and the readers, they never adopt this process of reading at the time of reading this newspaper. And you can apply the same thing in all sense, in all cases, so that you can able to acquire certain knowledge in this language. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes we also find that some barriers, obstacles at the time of reading a language, how to speak this language fluently, right?
Mm.
And
Yes.
first of all, we take a lot of care of grammars when we speak this language. We also fear of others. We fumble to speak this language in presence of others. It's because that pureness, right? If that pure psychosis that grows with you, you cannot able to speak this language fluently. This will put in trouble to speak this language, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
uh, when you read this, you try to read that loudly, and you should not make any sound at all, so that others will be disturbed. Suppose you are working in the office, you are sitting in your office and working with other colleague. So if you go on reading something else loudly, other will be disturbed. But you should read in such a way that you feel that you are reading that loudly. So happening, that process is happening and taking place inside you. You feel that I'm reading something loudly, and that helps a person who reads something loudly. That will help a reader to speak that language, because the organs of mouth cavity, that is teeth, ridge, and the tongue, tip of tongues, middle tongues, and back of tongues, palate, right? And all the things, all the organs of our mouth cavity will be acquainted with pronunciations, and that pronunciation, that sorts of acquaintancy taking place in subconscious states. Okay, so that will be much helpful for us if you read something loudly. Okay, and some barriers sometimes you will also come upon at the time of reading something else loudly, right? Reading word by word, reading aloud, rereading the passage, and reading too fast. These sorts of things also happens and takes place at the time of reading something else loudly, right? Huh. So it is told that the reader should check his normal reading speed and comprehension, right? You should read a passage, time yourself while you do this, and then ask yourself questions about what you read to check for comprehension. Okay, repeat the process, and in time you will see a difference in the quantum of material that you are able to assimilate in shorter time space. Your concentration, memory, creative thinking, imagination, and ability to assimilate new information will improve drastically as you keep practicing speed reading and constantly check your comprehension ability to ensure that you get the most of the reading you are doing. Right. So these are the points that I discussed with you. Actually, you may not add up this thing because many things have been discussed theoretically, and if you go on following that process, then we just cannot do that. And in city, you must have instructed by your teacher that you just prepare a lesson and you prepare yourself well before going to class and change your get off and be uh, right. You check your get off and
Sir.
appear yourself in proper way so that you'll attract the attention of the students, right? And
Yes, sir.
you enter into classroom in smiling face, right? All will pay their attention to you. This many process and many instructions have been told and discussed in a training to the teachers. Actually, the teachers never follow that process of that principles and that method of teaching the moment he's going to classroom. He adapt his own method because the method that you adapt only in minor levels, in primary and secondary levels, but that never happens in case of college levels, right? When we discuss this thing with graduates, with the PG students, we never adopt any process of instruction. We just follow our own process of method of teaching, and we try our level best how our performance will be the best, how the students will able to accept us. We adopt our own method of teaching, right? We avoid the method that is being discussed by the text or by the trainers or the teachers, those who have told and instructed to the trainees that you just follow this process before going to class so that you'll be successful one. Actually, the theories never help a person to achieve success in life. So far my knowledge is concerned. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that is why we should be very much careful, right? So the most important thing that when you want to speak something else in English, right?
Yes.
You should speak very short sentences. Don't avoid speaking long sentences. That
Okay.
long sentences will create certain hindrances to speak something fluently and speedily. Okay.
Mm. Yes.
So this method should be there. And reading one thing, to read something else and to understand the passage, it's just in one reading. You have to take help of pencil or pen and move your hands from word to word so that you could able to understand the passage at one reading. You may not take an attempt to read the passage sometimes. No, but if you don't follow that method, then it will need a second reading to understand the meaning of that passage. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So
Yes,
uh,
sir.
uh, but so many things that we have discussed, so many things we have discussed, right? On the that how on the lines, between lines, beyond the lines, and reading word by word, reading aloud, rereading, reading too fast. So many things we adopt that because you must have practiced comprehension. comprehension. The passage is given because you have completed Class-2. You must have certain ideas that you must have come upon these sorts of questions of comprehension. The
Yes.
passage is given, and below some questions are given, and it is instructed in the question paper that go through that passage and try to find out answer from that passage and write answer from your own knowledge, right? So we say that comprehension. Okay, so that comprehension sometimes very problematic for us. How is it? Because the paragraph or the situations that is discussed in the paragraph, we have never come upon that sorts of situation in our life, and that was completely new type of paragraph. Okay, the context we have never come upon. But if you take yourself from text to context, you can able to understand the context. The context will help you to understand the text. So this process is a real process of preparation and reading. Okay. So what is context? The context means in which way that paragraph was written, and what thought have been reflected in that paragraph, and what ideas the reader has tried to present and reflect in that paragraph. Next thing we find that the surrounding where he lives, whether he has referred and reflected all that surrounding in that paragraph or not. And these are called contextual reading. And what factors are responsible or inspired the reader to write these sorts of paragraph? If you go on interpreting the text, that interpretation is called contextual reading. And that contextual reading certainly help an individual to know the passage thoroughly, or that will help you to understand the matter of the passage meticulously. Okay, so my point is that how do you develop the skill of reading, right? Being a reader, because this skill is useful in the life of a person till death, right? The haphazard reading that will help you in no way to understand the meaning of the text. So we need a meticulous and contextual reading at the time of preparing the paragraph. Okay, and if you read the same paragraph loudly, then you'll find this. You find better meaning, eh, than silent reading. Silent reading all times put a reader to understand the passage very slowly, or that understanding moves in slow process than rapid reading. Okay, loud
Yes,
reading.
sir.
Sorry, loud reading. And that loud reading, that you feel that I'm reading that loudly. I'm uttering that words inside. It is not hot to others outside, right? And this process, usual process that has been used in the text to follow and to develop our skill in reading skill. Okay, so you must have got that script from Igno.
No, sir.
Hello. So actually, the material that I carry, I collect all these things from net. On the net, that is not enough. All things are not available. We have to go to different branches to collect the materials. So it is time-taking process. If you carry anything with you, you please send me on WhatsApp, so that we could able to know that these are the things to be discussed, some important things. Thereafter, we'll proceed with our syllabus. Otherwise, the things will not be possible on our part. Because I thought that I had to discuss with you punctuation, how punctuation changes the meaning of the passage, the meaning that we get out of the passage. If that is punctuated in different ways, you'll find the meaning of the passage changed. The meaning that we get without punctuation, the same passage will give us a different meaning if it is punctuated. So, how punctuation plays a major role in writing sentences and analyzing the paragraph. Okay, so that punctuation, because had a number of students with us today, I would start this thing, and I think only within two classes I could able to complete this punctuation. Right, very important things. Actually, if this will go on, if very less number of students comes and ignore will be mom at these sorts of response of the students, then will be laughing stock. Actually, Renuka is always with us, and Jyoti, you are new. Other four students are there, right? Who are other students? Let me. It is not visible on the screen. Only Renika and Jyoti is present there. Are there any other students present with us?
No, sir. No, sir.
But it is mentioned only four. It's mentioned only four. Let us discuss about our personal problems regarding our preparation English language and literature. Let us discuss this. It will better, right? It will better. Renuka,
Yes, sir.
hello. Please unmute
Um,
and say whatever things that you like to speak to me. You please go on speaking so that we'll interact. So what should we do? Is there any alternative? Have you communicated to any of your friends to attend the classes? Hello.
no, sir.
What should we do? You, on behalf of students, you represent giving a complaint to the IGNO Center that only few students attend the classes. So far, we find difficult, and teachers find no interest to discuss anything with us. So please do something for us because we are interested to attend. So many things are left, and we are just counting students. Actually, I am not that much interested. What classes are not that important for me. My intention is to let the students understand whatever things are there in the text, and so that they could able to write something else. They will secure a good percentage of mark, and this happens because theoretical things that you find in the text, unless they are discussed physically with the students, we just cannot understand that. Okay. uh, and if you attend the classes on virtual mode, your doubts will be cleared. I know that because I have gained a lot of experience out of this. So it became a disinterest for me when I find only 2 to 3 students. This is a matter of what should I say? Uh, I feel very uncomfort, right? The inspiration the teacher gets in presence of so many students, the same thing that I don't feel. Okay. Uh, so the things that we have discussed for a reading skill, what have you learned out of that? Would you please tell me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Tell me. Let me know. Let me read one passage. Right. Now I'm reading a passage, and after reading this passage, I'll put certain question to you verbally. You'll try to answer my question, right? Am I audible clearly?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
According to Kate Johnson, children are ending up spending more time inside the house doing homework on computers and playing video games and less time on outdoor activities. This is taking a toll on children's eyes. Cat, an optometrist who lives in Brisbane, says that children as young as 6 now need classes. In her view, the children are sporting glasses due to their indoor lifestyle. The occurrences are more in children with no family history of myopia. It's a eye disease, right? So, out of that cathode rays coming from TV, coming from that mobile, coming from computer, and how does that ray affect the retina of eyes, and the people are suffering, and the students and the young children are suffering from that myopia. They spend so much more time in close work with computers and reading doing the damage. Her recommendation is that children need to be encouraged to roam outdoor and look more at objects in the distance for better eye health. Parents have to enforce balance in the time spent indoors, right? Research findings of Kara Skimist, associate professor, are that it is not simple looking into the distance that prevents myopia, but actually being outside in the sunlight. Sunlight helps in the release of high amount of retinal transmitters. One of these is dopamine that is coming from sun rays, right? If we expose ourselves for sometimes in sun rays and look into look towards the sun, then if our eyes, retina, come in contact of that morning sun rays, then a lot of things will disappear. A lot of diseases attacking to our eyes will disappear. Right? We get certain medicinal value from that morning sun rays. So instead of sitting maximum times in front of television, in front of mobile, in front of that laptop or tab, that they do lot harms to our eyes. So one of these is dopamine, which prevents the eye elongation that is caused by spending long periods doing intense near walks. Bro, should we ask certain questions that playing outdoor causes eyesight to go weak? It's false or true? Or children moving outside, and the children those who are confined within indoor, how what happens to them, right? Right, going outside and coming upon scenic beauty, natural scenery, the health of eyes developed, right? So that one should be exposed to nature to maintain good health. This passage tells. And the question was playing outdoors causes eyesight to go weak. It's wrong or false? It's false or true? Okay,
True, sir.
it's true. Next, what does the word sporting means in lines 5? Sporting. The students or the children are sporting classes due to their indoor lifestyle. What do you mean by sporting here? Sporting means children are rapidly going to wear or put on specs, right? Sitting indoor in front of exposing themselves, exposing their eyes to cathode rays, it causes suffering them from myopia. Okay, so spotted means what? What do you mean by spotted here? Spotted means put on, wearing. Okay. Then what does Johnson say is helpful about looking an object in the distance? Children can do their homework better on computer. It would have a beneficial effect on children's eyesight. Playing video games would be more fun. It would improve their balance problems. So it is you have to choose the answer out of these four sentences. What does Johnson say is helpful about looking at objects in the distance? The answer is it would have a beneficial effect on children's eyesight if they go outside, watch greenery, watch
Yes,
scenic
it's
beauty.
awesome.
Ah, the eye health will be improved for
Mm.
this. Katrina, chemist, explained that sunlight release high transmitters for retina. True or false? Katrina scheme explained that sunlight is a high transmitters for retina. It is true because we get a lot of benefit out of that dopamine, a kind of rays that available in sun rays. The dopamine helps retina of eyes to keep better health. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so what is the role of dopamine that is released by exposure to sunlight? It prevents eye elongation. Means eye is not affected. If eye is suffering out of that, then one will be recovered out of that. Right. So the comprehension that I did and the question that I put to you to answer my questions, and I have also some extent discussed the answers because that passage is not available with you. Whatever you heard from me, you just tried to answer my questions, right?
Yes, sir.
If
I have
my
followed the
reading,
steps as
uh,
well.
or did you find any meaning out of my reading, or do you find certain problems with my pronunciation? What problem really you found with me, so that you could not able to answer my question that I put to you?
No, sir. We just forgot the whole passage after listening.
Or that happens because it needs to be present with the text and passage, so that if you go through that passage and I put certain and create certain questions out of that passage that is not available in the text, then I could know that I could assess whether you could be able to answer my questions or not, whether you are able to assess the passage properly or not. Okay.
Yes.
So this type of problems that we find because it needs the text English without text, because I'm not discussing anything theoretically, or it happens in case of that PG and other students, you know. But when the practical things are available and we have to deal with something practically, we cannot avoid textbook and materials. They're compulsory for us.
Yes, sir.
So it is matter of regret that neither the center or nor anybody provide me that material so that I could able to know these are the things, important things to be discussed with students that will helpful for them in examination so that they could able to answer the questions. So because some important things that could be discussed with students, but that doesn't happen due to lack of this thing, no. So another thing that I also it's my personal request that I need to collect that materials from any other source. But where should I collect that? And are they available on the net? And the things and the material available on the net, will that be helpful to the students? Discussing that thing with students because we are
Mm,
spending some times and time should not be wasted uselessly. No,
yeah.
we cannot give proper justice to our time unless we go with the text and find the materials. So for that reason, so it's my personal request. If you have that materials with you, you just send me that materials and let me know that these are things, so that on that basis we'll discuss and progress with our syllabus. And within stipulated times, I could able to complete all the things that are to be completed for syllabus for examination point of view. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In next class. So after this class is over, you please send me or take photos of all that materials and send to me. So because I told to one of the students to send me that materials. She promised to send me that come with that materials to the center, but she didn't turn off. Right.
Yes, sir.
Only studying the syllabus, I'm discussing this. But I need to discuss some exact things, right? And that will beneficial for you for your examination, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ah, ah. Hello, hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Ah, tell me. So I'm telling so many things, but you are not telling anything. I don't feel that if you have any proper response to my speech or not. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Ask me something so that we will proceed.
Sir, I have a question. Um,
Okay.
that you told us we should read loudly in a passage, but what can I do in exam hall?
That happens because yeah, I'm not talking to read something loudly. Uh, it is told that you please read something. You feel that you are reading loudly, but you are not making any sound at all.
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes.
Sometimes we eat pudding, right? That is called pies, and we also make certain sound at the time of eating, right? The pies. But some people are there without making any sound. They could able to eat that very comfortably, right? They are eating. They are feeling. They are getting the same taste. And the people those who are making eating that with sound, they also get the same. The taste is not different, right? Those who are making sound and those who are eating that silently. The taste of the pudding is same. Okay,
Okay,
that
sir.
sweet pudding gives that sweet taste to both the silent eater and the person who is eating that making certain sound. We get the same taste, we get the same utility, right? Making sound does not make anything different. So if you read something else silently, but you feel that you are reading that loudly, and that sound is not hot to the person sitting beside you in your surrounding. So I'm talking about that sorts of loud reading, not making any sound. You're talking to yourself. Sound needed for others, right? Sound is not needed for oneself. If any questions arouse in us, we try to answer that. But if we need to answer the same questions to others, we make certain sounds. Okay. So sound is for others, only to let others listen, but not to let oneself listen. If you go on speaking yourself, talk to yourself, that's enough for you. Okay? I'm talking and emphasizing on that type of reading, right? So that others will not be disturbed. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions I'd like to invite from you? Please go on asking me. Hello?
Yes, sir. No.
Tell me. It will be my pleasure if you find some questions from your side. Okay? Should we wind up? Should we wind up our discussion for today?
Yes, Jachi
If
sir.
you,
Hello.
bhai.
Uh, we'll wind up the program.
Yes, let us wind up this program.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So have you consulted with the center regarding a few attendance of students?
Now they have intimated us to give the total attendance of total course. That are the total number of allotment of learners and number of students attended. So I will send it tomorrow and consult with.
Okay. So can you start it before time? Instead of 5:30, can you make it 4:34 like this?
Sir, the information regarding the schedule of class, they will intimate.
Okay. 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 Let it be continued. We should not change that time.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir, for
Thank you.
your cooperation, sir. Thank you.
Nice to meet to all my students, and good evening to all. Let us wind up this. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you all. Thank you.